Love, Lost, Rebirth, Alive, Blue Dolphins. The novel, by Makāula Nakae. Dedication. For lovers, those who have experienced the gravity of love. And in loving memory of my best swim buddy, Earl Anderson, who passed away in August 2025. He introduced me to the beauty and awe of the blue expanse of water, from the Queen Surf Reef to the wide, unlimited azure horizon viewed while drifting with the huge waves offshore from the Pink Palace, the Royal Hawaiian. Together, we stepped and danced on hypertrance and circuit dance floors with our friends through those unforgettable nights. He didn't get to read this finished version. I met Earl at Queen Surf Beach, and through everything that followed, from him introducing me to friends at the beach to nightclubs and house parties, this novel took shape. Aloha and mahalo, Earl. Your laughing smile and the blue Waikīkī waters are written right here. The water of Cane. This question I ask of you. Where, pray, is the water of Cane? Yonder, at sea, on the ocean. In the driving rain, in the heavenly bow. In the piled-up mist wraith. In the blood-red rainfall. In the ghost-pale cloud form. There is the water of Cane. One question I put to you. Where is the water of Cane? Up on high is the water of Cane, in the heavenly blue, in the black piled cloud. In the black cloud. In the black mottled sacred cloud of the gods. There is the water of Cane. Unwritten Literature of Hawaii by Nathaniel B. Emerson, 1909. Chapter 1, Boy Meets Boys. Episode 1, Beach of Queens. By late morning on weekends, many local and visiting gay men start to gather at Queen Surf, the gay beach located at the end of Waikīkī on the Diamond Head side. The name of this beach originates from the summer palace of Queen Liliʻuokalani, the 8th monarch and the last queen of the Hawaiian kingdom. The word queen symbolizes elegance, pride, and a dignified splendor, akin to the brilliance of a sparkling white diamond. At the same time, it represents solitude and strength, the lonely yet flamboyant jesters, and flowers with sharp thorns and poison. Perhaps this irresistible allure and resonance of the word queen has made this beach a favorite among gay men who are often vibrant, proud, and sometimes comical like jesters. Jim sometimes spends time at Queen Surf with his friend Coco. He is a fourth-generation Japanese American, with 3/4 Japanese and 1/4 Haole Caucasian blood. His appearance is neither entirely Caucasian or fully Japanese, but more Oriental. Unlike the typically short stature of Asians, he stands tall at nearly 5 feet 11. His well-toned, muscular physique speaks of his excellent body sense, with originally black hair cut very short and dyed a shade close to blonde, complementing his well-tanned dark skin. Jim's weekend ritual begins at the breakwater, where he sets his sights on the Waikīkī War Memorial Natatorium. This hallowed ground was once the training waters of the legendary Duke Kahanamoku, the father of modern surfing and a 5-time Olympic medalist who shattered world records with his powerful natural stroke. Swimming in the wake of such a legacy, Jim crosses the vibrant coral reefs between the barriers, aiming for 2 or 3 grueling round trips. There is a distinct artistry to a body sculpted by the sea, far removed from the rigid lines of a gym-built physique. Unlike the bulky, isolated muscles developed through daily weightlifting, a swimmer's form is defined by a beautifully balanced proportion. To survive the elements, the body retains a thin layer of subcutaneous fat, softening the edges while maintaining core temperature. It is a physique born of fluid, total-body aerobic exercise, functional, resilient, and harmoniously aligned with the water itself. Jim takes pleasure in being attracted to the men flaunting their well-balanced and beautiful bodies as if modeled after the semi-naked gods of Greek mythology. The irresistible charm of displaying a beautifully sculpted, muscular body built through daily gym visits at beaches, clubs, and bars where gay men gather is undeniable. Last night, Jim saw a young local-looking guy at Club Fresh wearing a red Speedo coming out of the beach house and walking among the lying men, glancing around. "Do you know that boy?" Jim asked, nudging Coco as she sat beside him. Despite his own late nights in the island's bars and clubs, Jim had never seen this particular young man before. Coco, shaded by a wide-brimmed straw hat, lifted her gaze from the paperback in her lap. She was immersed in the mists of Avalon, a retelling of the Arthurian legends from a female perspective and a personal favorite of hers. As she looked up at Jim and followed his gaze, the sunlight filtered through the weave of her hat, casting tiny, dancing flecks of white light across her smooth cheeks, brilliant, sparkling dots that looked like the reflection of a miniature mirror ball. Despite approaching her 40s, Coco had a gorgeous body. A pure white European-style bikini revealed her sculpted, perfectly shaped ample bosom, and the beautiful body line maintained through years of regular yoga and morning jogging. Having spent a long time in Europe, she was not conservative about her body and felt relaxed and liberated. At this beach, surrounded by many gay men, she did not have to worry about being approached by straight men or unnecessarily hiding her body from men's gazes. In a sense, gay men acted as her bodyguards. When she turned her face towards the young man Jim was talking about, she felt an instant change in her senses. The surrounding space suddenly felt pure, as if the transparency had increased. Then, a sensation like a vibration at the center of her forehead came, followed by a slight pain at the center of her brain, and a refreshing coolness felt like a gentle breeze on her head. She elegantly lowered her oversized white-framed Gucci sunglasses to get a better look at the young man, revealing beautiful green eyes from under the hat's shadow. The beach scene she saw with her naked eyes seemed more vivid than usual, and small particles of light, like diamond dust, began to sparkle here and there in the space before her eyes. As she gazed at the young man Jim was talking about, he slowly stood up from where his bag lay at his feet, stretched his back, and shielded his eyes with his right hand to peer at the sea while holding his goggles in one hand. At that moment, she felt as if her pupils had suddenly dilated, and a silence enveloped her as if time had stopped. It was when the magic light of the island, brought to life by the sunlight, began to breathe. For a while, Coco stood still, staring at the young man without blinking, her mouth slightly open. The young man, gazing at the Waikīkī Sea, shading his eyes from the dazzling light above, appeared incredibly vivid, bathed in a shining marine blue. I was seeing his aura. She was struck with awe, witnessing such a profound spiritual sight with her naked eyes. This was no abstract image glimpsed during deep meditation. It was a clear, perfect overlay integrated into her natural vision. While many claim the ability to perceive auras, the experience remains deeply personal. Some sense them as mere cognitive impressions, while others see through the mind's eye internal screen of the third eye. For her, however, the experience was startlingly physical. It was a vivid, evident display of color, as clear and detailed as the world at high noon. It was a brilliant, waking vision that required no meditation or closed eyelids to take shape. It was simply there, woven into the fabric of the room. Skeptics often dismiss such phenomena as fraud or imagination, largely because they have not cultivated the spiritual discipline required to accumulate sacred, mystic wisdom. In truth, the ajna, or third eye, is an inherent part of the human blueprint. It functions as an organic, biomechanical device that can be activated through the cultivation of dense, focused energy. Your brain is the architect of your reality, constantly shaping the world you perceive. During meditation, the colors and shapes that appear are not random. They are reflections of your energetic condition, influenced by your environment and your interactions with others. Because your individual consciousness is a localized fragment of the universal consciousness, your thoughts and intentions act as bridges. By focusing your intention, you create pathways to different dimensions, allowing you to access the celestial energies of higher beings. Against the backdrop of the transparent cerulean blue sea stretching out behind the young man, and the shimmering white waves reflecting the light as they crashed, it looked like they were watching a beautifully shot scene from a vibrant movie. The marine blue light outlining his body flowed slowly like water, gradually brightening into a brilliant cerulean blue. The sight was so vivid and clear, appearing like cobalt blue gems reminiscent of opaque blue sapphires in places and occasionally transitioning to a deeper navy blue, making those parts seem slightly heavier and slower moving. At times, flashes of golden orange and vividly transparent red light would appear and gradually fade away. The sparkling cerulean blue light particles surrounding his body seemed to flow together with the waves of the surrounding blue sea, merging and beginning to blur the contours of his body. "Wow, what a beautiful blue aura," she muttered in amazement, captivated by the miraculous scene. "I don't know. I've never seen him here before." "Have you?" Jim, looking severe, stared back at her and responded, "What? Blue aura? Who are you talking about?" "I'm talking about the local-looking guy in the red Speedo." Her eyes widened in surprise as she looked back at Jim, and then turned her gaze again towards the young man. Her mouth dropped in shock when she saw him standing on the beach again. The blue glow she had just seen was gone, and the red Speedo was visible. "You mean the guy in the red swimsuit?" Coco whispered, her voice trailing off. "But when I saw him earlier, his aura was glowing a deep, radiant cerulean blue." "Please don't confuse me. Is your brain actually working today?" Jim asked, looking at her with a puzzled expression. Coco only replied with a wry smile, her eyes drifting back toward the young man Jim had pointed out. It was in that silent moment of observation that Jim truly realized Coco wasn't just guessing. She could see things that ordinary people could not. "I get it. You're talking about the slim, dark-skinned guy standing next to the older man, right?" Coco spoke the words, but her mind was elsewhere. She found herself wondering why this was happening, why these visions were suddenly surging back for no reason at all. "Yeah, that's him. But I don't see any blue." He pointed his finger at the young man, looking at her slightly vacantly. "Jim, something's strange. I understand what you're saying. I can see that he's wearing a red swimsuit now. But earlier, for some reason, I saw him surrounded by a glow that changed from light blue to cobalt blue, then cerulean." Jim's eyes widened as he looked back at Coco. Coco couldn't hide her confusion. "Yes," she replied, her voice thinning to a whisper. "It seems so. I don't know why, but I could see his aura so clearly. It's so sudden. And blue hues like that, they usually signal that some kind of healing or clearing is happening, but they don't always signify something good. Physically, he needs special attention. Why did I suddenly start seeing auras? What does that even mean?" Jim asked, intrigued, but she didn't explain the significance of the blue glowing aura. She knew that even if she did explain, he wouldn't understand. "It sounds strange, but I can't explain why I saw his aura. Besides, it doesn't happen that often, or that clearly." "Wow, that's interesting. I know you can sometimes see and hear things others can't, but I've never witnessed it. It feels weird, but also cool, like a superpower." Jim smiled faintly at her. "Thanks for saying that," she replied, appreciating his understanding. "What a strange day." She looked up at the sky, let out a soft sigh, and tried to return to the book in her lap. But the words on the page wouldn't settle. Her mind was already racing with the strangeness of the occurrence. Was the vision a message for her, or was it meant for Jim? She didn't know this man, they had no connection at all, so why was his spirit revealing itself to her? She couldn't shake the feeling that she had just witnessed a foretelling, a glimpse of something she was desperately meant to know. "So, do you know him or not?" Coco asked, her curiosity finally piqued. She knew Jim well enough to know his eyes were rarely idle. Whether he was in the bars, the clubs, or at the gym, Jim had a natural tendency to hunt for his next conquest. Here on the gay beach, he was in his element. To Jim, a swimsuit was hardly a barrier. He had a way of looking right through the fabric, assessing every line of a man's naked body and exactly what he was packing beneath his trunks. No, I saw him at the club last night, but I've never seen him before that. It was just past midnight, and the club was starting to get crowded. Jim was standing next to the DJ booth adjacent to the dance floor, chatting with friends he knew. To be continued. Swim and listen to the historical gay drama in the center of the Pacific. We are releasing a brand new episode every single day until the epic conclusion of the story. Each chapter delivers a tight, hyper-focused 15 to 30-minute hit of cinematic historical drama set in the tropical islands of Hawaii, the perfect daily plunge into the shattered world a millennium after 9/11. Watch the cinematic video trailer. Listen to the full novel now. Bookmark Blue Dolphins. The Novel Playlist, A Great Argead Saga, Alexine, Volume 1. Talesius Playlist, Volume 2, Sacred Band Playlist, and Divine Oracle. Unwritten words behind my novel playlist. Subscribe to follow the waves and currents of Forbidden Paradise love tales. Comment below.